The stars looked cold through the window of the Wanderer. Captain Minu stood on the bridge, watching the massive station ahead. It was called the Grand Nexus, home of the Galactic Dominion Council. The station was huge, bigger than Earth's moon. 12 alien races controlled everything from this place. They had ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years. Minu felt his hands tighten into fists. He was nervous but tried not to show it. Behind him, Ambassador prepared her notes. She wore formal Earth clothing, black and white, showing respect but also strength. Her face was calm, but Minu knew her well. She was worried too. "They will try to intimidate us," said quietly. "Stay strong." "Always," Minu replied. The Wanderer docked at the station. Guards met them at the airlock. These guards were not human. They were tall, with gray skin and 4 arms. Their eyes glowed blue. They said nothing, just gestured for the humans to follow. The walk through the station took 20 minutes. Everything was enormous. The halls were wide enough for 10 people to walk side by side. The walls showed images of alien worlds, conquered and peaceful under council rule. Minu noticed something else too. Small drones floated near the ceiling, watching them, recording them. Finally, they entered the council chamber. 12 beings sat on high platforms arranged in a circle. Each one looked different. Some had fur, others had scales. One looked like it was made of crystal. Another seemed to float in liquid inside a clear tank. They all looked down at the humans. Stepped forward. "I am Ambassador representing the United Earth Government. We come in peace to discuss." "Silence." The voice came from the center platform. The speaker was a being covered in dark blue feathers with large golden eyes. "You are here to listen, not speak. We are the council. We decide, you obey." Minu felt anger rise in his chest. Nobody spoke to Ambassador like that, but raised one hand slightly, telling him to stay calm. "Very well," said, "we will listen." The feathered being continued. "Humanity has existed in our galaxy for 50 years. You have spread to 7 star systems. You build weapons. You argue among yourselves. You are violent and unpredictable. You are dangerous." Another council member spoke, this one with scales and a long neck. "We have watched species like yours before. You always cause problems. You always bring war. We cannot allow this." The crystal being's voice sounded like wind chimes. "Therefore, the council has decided. Humanity will surrender all military vessels. You will accept protected species status. You will follow council law. You will not expand beyond your current systems." His face showed no emotion. "And if we refuse?" "Refusal is not permitted," the feathered leader said. "You have 30 days to comply. If you do not, we will take corrective measures. We will disarm you by force. We will occupy your worlds. Resistance will be punished." The crystal being added, "This is for your own good, and for the good of the galaxy." Minu could not stay quiet anymore. "You mean you will make us slaves?" All 12 council members turned their attention to him. The weight of their stares felt like pressure on his chest, but Minu did not look away. "You are a military officer," the feathered leader said. "You understand force. We have 12 species, thousands of worlds, fleets that could darken your sun. You have 7 small colonies. Your ships are primitive. Your weapons are toys. Do not speak of slavery. We offer protection." "Protection's voice was ice. "You offer a cage." "A comfortable cage," the scaled being said. "Many species thrive under our guidance. You will have peace, safety, order." "We have those things already," replied. "We govern ourselves. We make our own choices. We are free." The feathered leader stood. Even from far away, Minu could see it was huge, maybe 3 meters tall. "Freedom is chaos. Freedom is war. We have eliminated chaos from this galaxy. We will not let one young, foolish species bring it back." A document appeared on a holographic screen in front of. "This is the treaty. Sign it. Take it to your leaders. They will sign it too. You have 30 days. We are being generous." Other species received only 10 days. Looked at the document. Pages and pages of rules, restrictions, requirements. It was not a treaty, it was a surrender. "I will take this to Earth," said, "but I will not sign it, and I cannot promise Earth will sign it either." The council chamber filled with angry sounds, clicks, hisses, deep rumbles. The council members spoke to each other in their own languages. Finally, the feathered leader raised one wing for silence. "You will sign. All species sign, all species obey. This is how the galaxy works." "Perhaps it is time for the galaxy to work differently," said. The council members stared at her. For a long moment nobody spoke. Then the crystal being laughed. It sounded like breaking glass. "Different, you. A species barely out of your home system. You think you can change 3,000 years of order?" "We can try," Minyu said quietly. The feathered leader folded its wings. "Then you will fail, and you will learn what happens to those who defy the council. Take your document, return to Earth. Tell them what we have said, 30 days, not 1 day more." The guards appeared again, gesturing for the humans to leave. As they walked back through the halls, Minyu noticed more drones than before, dozens of them all watching. On the Wanderer, after they left the station, sat in her chair and closed her eyes. Minyu gave the order to return to Earth. When they were in faster-than-light travel, safe from watching eyes, finally spoke. "They think we are children," she said. "They think we will be afraid." "Are we?" Minyu asked. Opened her eyes. They were bright with determination. "Yes, I am terrified, but fear does not mean we surrender. Fear means we are alive, and we will stay alive on our own terms." Minyu nodded. "What do we tell Earth?" "The truth," said. "The Council demands obedience. Now we must decide how to answer." The Wanderer raced through space, carrying news that would change everything. Behind them, the Grand Nexus grew smaller. Ahead, Earth waited, and in 30 days, one way or another, humanity would give its answer to the galaxy. The message from the Wanderer reached Earth in 3 days. Director read it 5 times. Each time, he felt the same cold anger in his stomach. The Council wanted humanity to bow down, to give up everything they had built, to become pets. He called an emergency meeting. Leaders from every nation came. They gathered in Geneva in the United Earth Government building. The room was full within hours. Presidents, prime ministers, generals, scientists, everyone who mattered. Ambassador spoke first. She told them everything. The Council's demands, their threats, their attitude. When she finished, the room was silent. Then everyone started talking at once. "We should negotiate," said Counselor, a woman from Korea who believed in peace above all. "Perhaps we can find middle ground. We do not need a war." "There is no middle ground," Admiral said. He was old, with gray hair and scars from Earth's last war. "They want total control. You cannot negotiate with tyrants." "We are not ready for war," another leader said. "They have thousands of ships, we have hundreds. They have weapons we do not understand." "Then we learn quickly," said Engineer. He was young, barely 30, but his mind was brilliant. "I have been working on new designs, things they have not seen before." Director raised his hand for quiet. Everyone stopped talking. "Show us," said two. Brought up a holographic display. It showed ships, weapons, defense systems. "The Council relies on old technology," he explained. "They are powerful, yes, but they have been the same for centuries. They do not innovate. They do not need to. Nobody challenges them." "We will challenge them," Admiral said. "If we choose to," Counselor reminded him. "The vote has not happened yet." Doctor stood up. She was a scientist who studied alien cultures. She had spent years learning about the Council. "I must tell you something," she said. "I have been researching. The Council has done this before." She showed images on the screen. 3 alien species extinct. These races refused Council demands. The Council destroyed them completely. Every world, every ship, every person, gone. The room became quiet again. The images showed ruined planets, dead cities, empty space where civilizations used to be. They will do this to us, someone asked. If we refuse, yes, Doctor said. They believe in order above all. Any species that threatens their control must be eliminated. Then we have no choice, Counselor said sadly. We must sign. No, Captain Minu had been standing near the back. Now he walked forward. We do have a choice. We can fight. And die asked. Maybe, Minu said, but we will die free. And maybe we will not die at all. Maybe we will win. Admiral smiled. I like this, Captain. Director looked around the room. We need to vote. Everyone here represents millions of people. This decision affects all of humanity. Do we submit to the Council, or do we stand and fight? What about negotiation? Asked. Can we not try one more time? Ambassador shook her head. I saw their faces, heard their words. They do not negotiate. They command. They are not interested in our thoughts or our rights. To them, we are children who need to be controlled. Then I vote we fight, said the President of North America. Fight, said the Prime Minister of Europe. Fight, said representatives from Asia, Africa, South America, Australia. One by one they voted. When it came to Counselor, she was crying. But she stood and said, fight, for our children and our future, we fight. The vote was unanimous. Humanity would refuse the Council's demands. Director activated something on his computer. I created a plan years ago. I hoped we would never need it. I called it Protocol Defiance. It is a complete military preparation plan. Resources, training, production, defense. Everything we need to protect ourselves. How long until we are ready? Admiral asked. We have 27 days until the deadline, said. We will not be fully ready, but we will be ready enough. The meeting continued for hours, explained his new weapons. Admiral discussed fleet positions and strategies. Doctor talked about the Council's weaknesses. Every nation promised resources. Factories would run day and night. Every ship would be armed. Every colony would be defended. Ambassador was given a new mission. She would return to the Council and deliver Earth's answer. But first, she would speak to the galaxy. 10 days later, Ambassador stood before cameras. Her message would be broadcast across human space and beyond. Every human world would hear her. And if Doctor's plan worked, so would many alien worlds under Council control. People of Earth, began. People of humanity across the stars, I come to you with news. The Galactic Dominion Council has demanded our surrender. They want us to give up our freedom, our ships, our right to grow and explore. They say they will punish us if we refuse. She paused, looking directly into the camera. We refuse. Across 7 star systems, humans watched and listened. Some cheered, some cried, all felt pride. The Council believes we will be afraid, continued. They are correct. We are afraid, but fear does not make us weak. Fear reminds us what we have to lose, our families, our homes, our right to choose our own path. These things are worth fighting for. The Council has existed for 3,000 years. They believe they cannot be challenged. Today, humanity says they are wrong. We are young, yes. We are small compared to them, but we are not helpless, and we are not alone. Doctor had found ways to send this message to dozens of worlds controlled by the Council. Subjugated species watched in secret. They saw humans standing up to their masters. To all species watching, said, we know you understand, you remember freedom. Some of you lost it long ago. Some of you never had it. We fight not just for ourselves, but to show that tyranny can be resisted, that freedom is possible, that courage matters. She finished her speech with simple words. The Council demands obedience. Humanity answers bravely. We will see you in the stars. The message ended. Within hours, the Council sent a response. It was short. You have chosen extinction. Prepare yourselves. Director read the message to his command staff. Admiral, Engineer, Captain Minu, Doctor, and others. They all looked at him, waiting. Well, said, we have 17 days until they arrive. Let us make sure they remember those 17 days for the next 3,000 years. Everyone got to work. Humanity prepared for war. The Council fleet appeared at the edge of human space exactly on time. 50 ships, each one massive. They moved slowly, confidently, like predators who knew their prey could not escape. Captain commanded Horizon Station, humanity's furthest colony. She watched the fleet approach on her screens. Her hands were steady, but her heart raced. The station held 10,000 people, families, children, scientists who had come to build a new world. A message came from the lead council ship. Horizon Station, you will evacuate immediately. You have 2 hours. Any humans remaining after that time will be eliminated. The council has spoken. Captain looked at her officers. Send the response we prepared. The communication officer nodded and sent a simple message back. Horizon Station to Council Fleet. We are not leaving. This is our home. If you want it, come and take it. The Council Fleet stopped moving. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then the lead ship fired. A beam of energy shot across space. It hit Horizon Station's shields. The station shook, but the shields held. Engineers' new designs were working. Return fire, Captain ordered. The station's weapons came alive. Missiles launched. Energy cannons fired. The Council ships were not expecting resistance. One ship took damage to its hull. The others quickly raised their own shields. They are surprised, the tactical officer said. They thought we would be easy. We will show them different, Captain said. All defense platforms fire at will. The battle for Horizon Station had begun. It would last 3 days. Meanwhile, in another part of space, Lieutenant led a small team on a dangerous mission. They flew a stealth ship, one of new designs. It could hide from most sensors. Their target was a Council scout ship, separated from the main fleet. Stay quiet, whispered to his team, even though there was no sound in space. We get in, grab what we need, get out. The scout ship was large but not built for combat. Its crew probably thought they were safe, watching humans from a distance. They were wrong. Ship attached to the scout ship's hull. His team cut through the outer wall with plasma torches. Inside, they moved quickly through the corridors. 3 Council aliens tried to stop them. The humans used stun weapons. They did not want to kill if they could avoid it. In the ship's computer core found what he was looking for. Data, information, plans. Everything to portable drives. The whole operation took 12 minutes. As they left, one of the Council aliens woke up. It spoke in broken human language. You cannot win, Council too strong. Maybe, said, but we will try anyway. They escaped back to their ship and disappeared into space. The intelligence they captured would change everything. Back at Earth Command, Director reviewed findings. Doctor helped translate the alien data. What they found makes blood run cold. They plan to kill us all, Doctor said quietly. If we resist even a little, they will not just conquer us. They will exterminate humanity completely. Every person, every world. They have done this 3 times before. They will do it again. Then we have nothing to lose, Admiral said. He had been studying the data too. If surrender means slavery and resistance means death, we might as well resist. At least we die fighting. Maybe we do not die at all, said. He pointed to part of the data. Look at this. Their ships all connect to a central command network. They coordinate through it. If we could disrupt that network. Doctor's eyes went wide. They would lose coordination. Each ship would have to fight independently. Exactly, said. Can we create something to attack their network? Engineer thought for a moment. Give me 5 days, I will need help. You have it, said. Take anyone you need, this is priority 1. While worked on the network weapon, the war continued. Commander led fighter squadrons against Council ships. The fighters were small and fast. They could not match Council firepower, but they could outmaneuver the larger ships. In the Battle of New Sol's squadron faced 6 Council destroyers. The odds were impossible, lost half her pilots in the first hour, but the survivors kept fighting. They flew between the big ships, targeting weapons systems and engines. One destroyer was crippled, another was forced to retreat. Herself destroyed a Council gun emplacement with a risky attack that nearly killed her. Her fighter took heavy damage. She barely made it back to the carrier. "Are you crazy?" her commander yelled when she landed. "Probably," said, climbing out of her ruined fighter, "but it worked." The small victories added up. At Horizon Station, Captain held the line. The Council threw more ships at her, but she refused to surrender. Her station was damaged, but still standing. Lieutenant returned with more intelligence. This time he captured a Council officer. The officer refused to talk at first, but Doctor spoke to it in its own language, showed it evidence of Council crimes. Slowly, the officer began to understand. "You think you fight for order," Doctor said, "but you fight for tyrants. They lied to you. They lied to all of us." The officer gave them access codes, fleet positions, strategic plans. It was a huge intelligence win. Captain Minu took a battle group deep into Council territory. His mission was to disrupt their supply lines. The Council did not expect humans to attack their own worlds. Minu's ships struck fast and disappeared. They destroyed supply depots, communication arrays, and patrol routes. But the cost was high. Minu lost 2 ships and 300 crew members. Each death weighed on him. These were people he knew, friends, comrades. "We are winning small battles," he told Director over a secure channel. "But they keep coming. For every ship we damage, they send 2 more. How long can we hold?" "Long enough," said. "Is almost done with his weapon. When it is ready, we strike." Back on Earth, scientists worked with. She specialized in computer systems and networks. Together, they created a virus. It was designed to spread through the Council's command network. It would not destroy the network, but it would cause confusion. Ships would receive wrong orders. Sensors would show false readings. The coordination that made the Council fleet so dangerous would fall apart. "It is ready," said after 5 sleepless days and nights. "But we need to get it close to their flagship. That is where the main network node is." "How close?" asked. "Very close," said. "Someone needs to physically upload it." Everyone looked at Lieutenant. He had proven he could sneak past Council defenses. "I will do it," said without hesitation. "Just tell me when and where." Admiral laid out the plan. It was desperate and dangerous, but it was also their best chance. Would take his stealth ship to the Council flagship. He would upload the virus. At the same time, every human fleet would attack at once. The Council would be overwhelmed trying to coordinate their defense while their network failed. "This will be the decisive battle," said. "We either win or we lose. There is no middle ground." The date was set. In 3 days, humanity would strike. Every ship, every station, every soldier prepared. Messages went out to all human colonies. People said goodbye to families, not knowing if they would return. Ambassador sent one final broadcast to the galaxy. "To all who watch," she said, "humanity faces its greatest test. We do not know if we will survive, but we know we will fight. We fight for freedom. We fight for the right to exist on our own terms. And we fight to show the galaxy that tyranny can be challenged. Whatever happens, remember us. Remember that we answered bravely." The 3 days passed like hours. Then the time came. Human fleets moved into position across a dozen star systems. Stealth ship approached the Council flagship. Commanders' fighters warmed their engines. Captain's station prepared for one final defense. And somewhere in space, Captain Minu whispered to his crew, "For Earth, for humanity, for freedom." The battle that would decide everything was about to begin. The Council flagship was called the Eternal Dominion. It was the largest warship ever built in the galaxy. 3 kilometers long, bristling with weapons, surrounded by shields that could stop a nuclear blast. Inside its command center, The council military leader sat on a throne-like chair, watching displays showing human forces gathering. "They are foolish," the leader said to its officers. "They attack us, the masters of the galaxy. We will crush them in minutes." The officers agreed. They had never lost a battle in 3,000 years. Why would this be different? They did not see Lieutenant's tiny stealth ship drifting closer, hidden in the shadow of debris from an earlier battle. His hands were sweating inside his gloves. His co-pilot, a young woman named Sola, monitored their systems. They were so close to the flagship now that they could see individual windows and gun turrets. "I am scared," Sola whispered. "Me too," admitted. "But we do this anyway. That is what courage means." They attached to the flagship's lower hull in a maintenance section, cut through the outer plating with a plasma torch. Inside, they moved through narrow service tunnels. The ship was so huge that they walked for 20 minutes before reaching a computer access terminal. Plugged in the drive containing virus, the upload started. It would take 3 minutes. Those were the longest 3 minutes of his life. An alarm sounded. Council security had detected them. Footsteps echoed in the tunnels, pulled out his weapon. Sola did the same. 2 minutes left, she said, watching the progress bar. 4 council guards appeared. They were huge, armored, carrying energy rifles. They shouted commands in their own language. Did not understand the words, but he understood the meaning. Surrender or die. "Keep uploading," told Sola. Then he fired. The fight was brief and brutal, took down 2 guards. A third guard shot him in the shoulder. Pain exploded through his body. He fell. The 4th guard aimed at Sola. Then the upload finished. The virus entered the Eternal Dominion systems, and from there, it spread to the entire Council fleet network. Sola grabbed the wounded and ran. Behind them, alarms wailed throughout the flagship. The guards chased them, but suddenly the ship's gravity fluctuated. Lights flickered. Doors opened and closed randomly. The virus was working. On the bridge of the flagship, chaos erupted. Every screen showed different information. Sensors reported ghost ships that did not exist. Weapons systems locked up. Communication channels filled with static. "What is happening?" the council leader roared. "Unknown malfunction," an officer reported. "It is spreading through the network. All ships report similar problems." At that exact moment, Admiral gave the order. "All fleets attack now." Human ships across 3 star systems jumped into action. They had been waiting for this moment. They outnumbered the Council ships 3 to 1, but the Council ships were much stronger. In a fair fight, humanity would lose. But this was not a fair fight. This was war. Commander led the first fighter wing against the Eternal Dominion. 200 small fighters swarmed the massive flagship. Its point defense guns tried to track them, but the virus made the targeting systems unreliable. Half the guns missed their targets. The other half shot at empty space. Fighter wove between energy blasts. She targeted the shield generators on the flagship's hull. Her missiles struck true. One generator exploded, then another. The flagship's shields began to fail. "All wings concentrate fire on Section 7, commanded. "We punch through, we can reach their reactor." But Council reinforcements were arriving. Destroyers moved to protect the flagship. Lost 12 fighters in seconds. She gritted her teeth and kept pressing the attack. At Horizon Station, Captain faced her own crisis. 3 Council battle cruisers surrounded the station. They had been trying to destroy it for days. Now, with their network failing, they attacked in an uncoordinated frenzy. "All weapons rapid fire," ordered. "Do not give them time to organize." The station's guns hammered the closest cruiser. Without proper coordination, the cruiser's shields collapsed under the barrage. The ship tried to retreat but ran into another Council vessel. Both ships tangled together, weapons firing wildly. Captain Menu's battle group attacked deep in Council territory. His target was a command station that coordinated Council fleet movements in the region. With the virus causing chaos, the station was vulnerable. "All ships full assault," Minyu ordered. "We take that station down, we blind them in this entire sector." His ships pushed forward through heavy fire. The Wanderer took damage to its engines. Systems failed. Crew members worked desperately to keep the ship functional, but Minyu refused to retreat. "Bring us alongside that station," he told his helmsman. "I do not care if we have to ram it." They did not need to ram it. Minyu's weapon's fire shattered the station's core. It broke apart in a silent explosion of metal and light. But victory came at a terrible cost. The Wanderer was too damaged to escape. Council ships converged on it. Minyu ordered his crew to abandon ship. Most made it to escape pods. Minyu stayed at his post, firing weapons until the last moment. A Council torpedo struck the Wanderer's reactor. The ship exploded. Captain Minyu died instantly, along with 20 crew members who could not escape in time. Back on Earth, Director watched the battles on multiple screens. Reports flooded in. Victories and defeats, ships destroyed on both sides, casualties mounting. "We are losing too many people," Counselor said, tears on her face. "Perhaps we should surrender now, save who we can." "No," Ambassador said firmly. "Minyu died for this. Hundreds have died. If we surrender now, their sacrifice means nothing." Engineer was working frantically. "I can boost the virus effect, make it stronger, but I need someone to get close to their flagship again." "Already did it once," said. "Where is he now?" Nobody knew, and Sola were still inside the Eternal Dominion trying to escape. Shoulder wound bled badly. Sola helped him walk through the malfunctioning corridors. They reached an escape pod bay, but Council guards blocked their way. "Go without me," said. "I will hold them off." "Absolutely not," Sola replied. She fired her weapon, dropping 2 guards. Then she threw a smoke grenade. In the confusion, they stumbled into a pod and launched. The pod shot away from the flagship just as Commander's fighters made another attack run. Saw the pod and ordered a rescue ship to retrieve it. When Sola were safe, smiled. "You did it, the virus is working, we have a chance." "Then finish this," said before passing out from blood loss. The battle raged on. Admiral coordinated the human fleets with brilliant tactics. He split the Council forces, isolated their strongest ships, and concentrated human firepower on weakened targets. The Council fleet, without proper coordination, began to fracture. But the Eternal Dominion was still a threat. Even damaged, it had enough weapons to destroy dozens of human ships. It was wounded but not beaten. Doctor had an idea. She had been broadcasting messages to subjugated species throughout the battle. Some of them responded. Ships appeared from unexpected directions. They were not human ships. They were vessels from species tired of Council rule. "We stand with humanity," one alien captain broadcast, "for freedom." A dozen alien ships joined the battle against the Council. It was not many, but it was enough. It showed that humanity was not alone. The galaxy was watching, and some were brave enough to help. The tide turned. Council ships began to retreat. The Eternal Dominion tried to flee, but its fighters had damaged its engines too badly. It drifted, helpless. The Council leader broadcast a message. "We call for truce, cease fire, we will negotiate." Admiral looked at Director. "What do we do?" Thought of Captain Minyu, of all the humans who had died, of the 3 species the Council had exterminated. He thought of Ambassador's words. "We answer bravely." "No truce," said. "Tell them to surrender unconditionally, or we will finish this." The Council leader had no choice. For the first time in 3,000 years, the Council surrendered. The Eternal Dominion drifted in space like a broken monument. Its weapons were silent. Its shields were gone. Inside, the Council leader sat alone in the dark command center. All the other officers had fled or been captured. 3,000 years of dominance had ended in 3 weeks of war. A human boarding team arrived. They were led by Admiral himself. He was old and tired, but he stood straight as he entered the command center. The council leader looked at him with golden eyes filled with hatred and disbelief. "You cannot do this," the leader said in broken human language. "We are the council, we are eternal." "Nothing is eternal," replied. "You forgot that. You forgot that power without justice eventually falls. You forgot that even the smallest species can fight back when pushed too far." The council leader was taken into custody. The war was over, but the real work was just beginning. Ambassador stood in the same council chamber where she had been threatened weeks before, but now everything was different. The 12 high platforms were empty. Instead, representatives from 40 different species filled the room. Some were former council members, ashamed and seeking forgiveness. Others were species that had been enslaved for generations, now free for the first time. "We gather today to build something new," said to the assembled crowd. "The Galactic Dominion Council is dissolved. Its laws are void. Its treaties are ended. We start fresh." A being from one of the subjugated species stood. "What about revenge? The Council destroyed our worlds, enslaved our people. Do we not deserve justice?" "You deserve justice," agreed. "But revenge only creates new cycles of violence. We propose something different, a new alliance, not based on domination but on freedom, not ruled by the few but governed by the many. Every species has a voice. Every world has a vote." "And if some species abuse this freedom?" asked a crystal being, one of the former council members. "If they become violent or aggressive?" "Then we will address it together," said. "With discussion first and force only when necessary. We will not repeat the council's mistakes. We will not rule through fear." The debates lasted days. Humans did not try to control the outcome. They offered suggestions but listened to others. Director gave resources to rebuild war-damaged worlds, including former council worlds. Engineer shared human technology freely, not keeping it as a weapon but as a gift. "Why help those who try to destroy us?" Counselor asked privately. "Because that is how we prove we are different," replied. "The council ruled through fear and strength. We will lead through example and generosity. Some will still hate us, but most will see that we mean what we say about freedom." Lieutenant recovered from his wounds in a hospital on Earth. Sola visited him every day. They became heroes across human space. Statues were planned. Awards were prepared, but did not feel like a hero. "I was scared the entire time," he admitted to Sola. "I still have nightmares about those tunnels in the flagship." "Being brave does not mean you are not scared," Sola said. "It means you do what needs to be done despite being scared. You saved us all." Commander received a promotion to Admiral. At the ceremony, she spoke to young pilots. "We lost many friends in this war, good people who will never come home. Remember them. Honor them by building the peace they fought for." Captain and her people on Horizon Station were finally able to repair their home. The damage was extensive, but they worked together. Other species sent help. Engineers from 3 different alien races came to assist. Former enemies working side by side, building instead of destroying. Doctor became the chief liaison for the new Galactic Free Assembly. She traveled to dozens of worlds, helping species adjust to their new freedom. Many did not know how to govern themselves after centuries of council control. Doctor taught them, helped them, encouraged them. On one world she met children who had never known anything but council rule. They asked her, "What is freedom?" "Freedom," Doctor said, "is the right to make your own choices, to succeed or fail by your own actions, to live according to your own values. It is wonderful and terrifying because it means you are responsible for your life, but it is better than letting others control you." The children did not fully understand, but they smiled. They would learn. The hardest task fell to engineer and scientist. They had to dismantle the Council's weapon systems. Not just physical weapons, but surveillance networks, control programs, and the infrastructure of oppression. It took months. "We need to destroy this carefully," said. "Some species might try to grab these systems for themselves. We must make sure tyranny cannot rise again so easily." They worked with experts from many species. Together, they dismantled 3,000 years of military dominance. It was slow, painstaking work, but it was necessary. 6 months after the war ended, a memorial was built on Earth. It was a simple structure, a wall of names. Every human who died in the war was listed. Captain Menyu's name was there, along with hundreds of others. Ambassador gave a speech at the dedication. These people answered when their species needed them. They faced impossible odds. They knew they might die, but they fought anyway because they believed freedom was worth any cost. We are here today because of them. The galaxy is free today because of them. Let us never forget what they gave us. Families touched the names of their loved ones. Many cried, but there was also pride. Their people had died for something meaningful. The galaxy would remember. The new Galactic Free Assembly met for the first time in a neutral location, a station built specifically for this purpose. It was not grand or imposing like the old council chamber. It was functional and equal, with every species having the same sized seat and the same voting power. Ambassador was elected as the first assembly leader. She accepted humbly. "I am honored, but I serve at your pleasure. If I fail you, vote me out. That is how democracy works." The Assembly's first action was to establish a Bill of Rights. Every species had the right to self-governance, the right to explore and expand, the right to defend themselves, the right to speak freely and choose their own path, and most importantly, the right to say no to anyone who demanded obedience. Admiral retired from military service. He was old and tired, ready to rest. At his retirement ceremony, young officers asked him for advice. "Remember why you fight," said. "Never for glory or revenge. Fight only to protect what matters. And always remember that your enemy is also someone's son or daughter, someone's loved one. Win with honor. Show mercy when you can. Be better than those who came before." Director remained in his position, but now he focused on peaceful development. Human colonies expanded, but they did so respectfully, asking permission from neighboring species and sharing resources. The aggressive reputation humans once had began to fade, replaced by respect and friendship. 1 year after the war, Captain's colony hosted a festival. Species from across the galaxy attended. Humans danced with aliens. Children played together despite looking completely different from each other. Food and music were shared. Languages mixed together in a beautiful chaos. Stood watching it all, a cup of tea in her hands. Ambassador joined her. "We did it," said quietly. "We changed the galaxy." "You did it," corrected. "You held Horizon Station when anyone else would have run. You showed them we could not be intimidated." "Many people were brave," said. "Menyu, millions of others. I just happened to be in the right place." They stood in comfortable silence, watching aliens and humans celebrate together. "Do you think it will last?" finally asked. "This peace?" "I do not know," admitted. "There will be challenges. Some species will test the new system. Conflicts will arise, but we built something strong. We built something based on principles, not just power. It has a chance." "That is all we can ask for," said. "A chance." Elsewhere on the ruins of a former council world, workers discovered something unexpected. A monument, thousands of years old. It showed beings standing together, different species united. An inscription was translated. They demanded obedience. We answered bravely. Together we built freedom. It was a monument from another time, another rebellion against the council's predecessors. That rebellion had failed. The rebels were forgotten, but humans had succeeded where others failed. Doctor studied the monument and smiled sadly. "We are not the first to fight for freedom, But maybe we are the first to win and keep that freedom. We must make sure the sacrifice was worth it. The galaxy moved forward. Human ships explored new regions, but always peacefully. Trade routes opened. Alliances formed. The free assembly grew stronger. Problems arose and were solved through discussion and compromise, not force. Children born after the war grew up in a different galaxy. They learned about the Council in history classes, a warning about what happens when power becomes tyranny. They learned about the brave humans and aliens who stood up and said enough. And they learned the most important lesson of all, that courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite fear. That freedom is never given, only earned. That a small species with a brave heart can change the universe. 10 years after the war, Ambassador, now elderly, gave her final speech before retiring. When the Council demanded our obedience, we answered bravely. Not because we were strong, but because we believed in something stronger than any weapon. We believed in freedom. We believed in ourselves. And we believed that the galaxy deserved better. Today, the galaxy is better. Not perfect, but better. Keep building, keep believing, keep answering bravely. She stepped down to thunderous applause from 100 species. The galaxy she helped create would continue without her. And that was exactly as it should be. Under the stars, humanity and its new friends looked toward the future. The Council was gone, tyranny was defeated, and across the cosmos, beings everywhere knew that they had the right to be free, the right to choose, and the right to answer bravely when challenged. The story of how one young species changed 3,000 years of oppression became legend. And legends, once created, live forever in the hearts of those who dream of freedom.